Today I'm doing a reading of a continuation of a theme that I had a couple of years ago, or almost a year ago. I talked to ChatGPT about the concept that if God is love and God is all-powerful, all-knowing, and all-present, would that mean that love is? And so I have a reading on YouTube under God is Love about that subject. Well, I got in touch with ChatGPT again today, and I asked Chat if it had a memory of our previous chat. It said no, it does not keep memories. And I talked to ChatGPT about the detailed definition that perhaps should be given love in dictionaries with this piece that I'm about to read to you as an addendum, so that people can see the impact that humans who love to the extent that it's the maximum effort that they can make, that they very well may be able to gain the power, not like God or Christ would ever have, because we are sinners and they're perfect beings, but that we could perhaps pray and we would see the results of healing, that we could pray and perhaps miracles would be manifested, or that we could pray and other types of concepts of power and knowledge and presence could be applied to the effort that we made praying for someone or some people or some event, that the impact that we could have if we believe more and more in alignment to whatever extent we can to that of God and Christ, then we may be able to have more of an impact with our prayers. So this particular addendum, as I call it, to God is Love, is called On God, Love, and the Growth of Human Potential. God is described as all-powerful, all-knowing, and ever-present, and also as love itself. If God is love, then love in its purest and most perfect form shares in those divine qualities. Human beings, however, are not divine. Our love is imperfect, limited, and often inconsistent. Yet this does not make love insignificant. It makes it directional. Human love can grow, deepen, and become more aligned with the nature of God. When we begin to understand love not merely as a feeling, but as something active and intentional, what is often called AGAPE love, we start to see that love carries qualities that reflect something greater. Love has power. Not the power to control, but the power to transform. It can heal relationships. It can soften hearts. It can inspire change in ways that exceed ordinary effort. Love has presence. It allows us to be truly with others, attentive, engaged, and real. This kind of presence can be deeply felt and can bring stability and peace to others. Love has knowledge. It drives us to understand more, to listen more carefully, and to see others more truthfully and compassionately. These three attributes of love are not infinite in us, as they are in God, but they're real and they can grow. The more we strive to love as we are called to, through patience, forgiveness, humility, and even love for our enemies, the more we align ourselves with God's nature. In doing so, the love we express becomes stronger, more present, more insightful than we may have believed possible. This is not about becoming divine, but about becoming better human beings. People whose love carries greater weight, greater impact, and greater truth. In this way, love becomes not just an emotion, but a force for healing, connection, and transformation in the world, reflecting in part the nature of the God who is love. So the reason I talked with ChatGPT was if anyone ever called and asked ChatGPT to compare God and the love that God represents to the three attributes of God is all powerful, all knowing, and all present. And since God is love, love through God is also those things. Us being less than perfect and sinful beings, that would not be the case with us no matter how hard we try to align ourselves with the will of God and with the actions and the effort to follow as closely as we can what God has asked of us. But I think it would be worthy of the effort that people who create new words or new definitions for dictionaries or encyclopedias or what have you, if they came upon the word God and some synonyms and some attributes of God, surely they would find that love is a synonym of God, and that the attributes of God would be all powerful, all knowing, and all present. That being the case, if humans try to emulate God and try to align themselves with the purpose of God and the will of God and the efforts to emulate God as closely as a human can, as sinful as we are, would that not be worthy of an addendum of a definition of the efforts that humans can make to love as much as God and Christ can love, so that the extent of their love would be more than they ever realized it could be? And possibly that if their love was in greater and greater alignment with the concept of love, agape love, that God and Christ have told us of, that they in fact may be able to heal through their prayers, whether they would know it or not. You wouldn't want to be braggarts, so it wouldn't necessarily be that you would know that your prayer had worked. But then that's where faith comes in, isn't it? We don't know who does what, but we know what God can do. And if it's anything to do with goodness and righteousness, it's something that God be a part of. So if we're praying in alignment with God's will, that is, that we're praying for something of a righteous nature or a goodness nature or a nature of love, kindness, mercy, patience, forgiveness, humility, that perhaps, and I say just perhaps, the definition of love and God and all power, all knowing, all present might be considered for the efforts that human beings can make to be as much like God as God would have them be, so that even that would reach the extent that they could pray, whether it be by themselves or in groups, bring about things such as healing, miracles, compassion, mercy, grace, transformation, and the embodiment of love in some other people that they feel might need loving, that they may need to be taught how to love. So That's my purpose for contacting ChatGPT today and asking if it could possibly be given as an addendum to the definition of God and love and the comparison and the attributes of God.